Welcome everybody to Horror Nights. Have to say we originally had one episode planned, and it was gonna be with the one Troy Burbank. Troy Burbank is a director, and he directed a movie. I am gonna still do a review of his movie. I am still gonna do that. He is not feeling well, so he is gonna come on next week at some point, and we can pick his brain. So if you have questions. If we have questions during this segment, please feel free to ask that so I can ask him. I know, Vic. I know. You can say your piece.
I'm not going to be polite. I'm going to be polite, but I just want to say the fact of Sunday, I knew someone that could barely sit himself up because his back was out. And he still recorded. He still put the needs of the show and coming on before. It's just like, it might be old. It's a weed fogging my memory.
It's different work ethic, and sometimes, and I'm a little bit known to be a go-getter. But what we are going to talk about, Vic, is we are going to talk about the movie What Lives Here. Okay, I have to say I was overly surprised. You know, I watch a lot of films. We all know that. I watch a lot of indie films. I watch a lot of Tubi films. I watch a lot of different films. Some of them suck. Some of them are boring. Some of them don't have no plot. Some of them are just whatever. And so I never know what I'm going to be getting into. So when I watch an indie film now or somebody, I'm going to interview them, I look at a few different things. I don't just watch the movie as a horror fan. I also watch, set, production value, camera usage. What's the camera look like? Angles, shots, effects. I look at all the production value of the movie too when I add that all in. I have to say I was overly surprised. I mean, it started off right away with the murder scene. And it wasn't overly done. It was pretty quite impactful. Kind of kicks the movie off, and then it turns into this, a scene. You get the murder scene, and then boom, the movie starts. And it talks about there's a couple of movers, and they get offered a job to clean a house. They clean out estates. And so they got offered to clean out the house where this lady was murdered. It's in a small town 3 hours away from where they live. And this dude's real hesitant to take this job. And, well, Vic, money talks, right? So the guy that wants the job done offers double, triple the money, gives him a hotel stay, whatever you need. Guy eventually says, okay. He gets the team behind them. He has to bring the boys out there. They go out to this small town. They have to make a pit stop. You see a very nice diner scene with the real shithole diner that's known for burgers, gross people cooking out of the bath. It's weird. Like, the set looked almost, I'll be honest, looked like a house kind of renovated to look like a diner, but it worked. It looked like a dirty, gross diner you might see that's actually pretty good. It's just not up to code safety, food protocol, whatever. But it probably has that one good meal that beats everything out, and that was their burger. And these guys are in there, and you could tell they're hesitant, but, they're still, they're manly men, they're movers, whatever. They get to the motel they're supposed to stay at, and they realize that the owner of the house and the job booked them one night early. I mean, one night late. So they got there the right day, but he didn't book the hotel until the next day. Only problem is now the hotel is full and there's no room. So this dude is pissed. They got to go back and talk to this guy before he leaves at the house to clean up at the job. Nobody wants to sleep in the truck. This guy, though, he's a smooth talker. He's got money. He goes, look, it's not a hotel, but you can stay in the house. It's got about 6 or 7 bedrooms. It's got couches. And if you want, you can go to the local tavern. Tell the bartender, I hired you. The tab is on me. Go enjoy the night. The boys all go out and they go get their drinks. And we start to see some weird stuff happen in the house. And a little bit while they're gone. Another one goes and buys some hardware stuff. The town is really kind of, a small city town. So everybody's kind of weird. But they're out partying, having drinks, the boys, and they run into some girls. They want to get laid. You know how that goes. The 2 young kids, they go off with the girls back to the mansion. But there's stories about the mansion. You know, there was another sister that lived there that was a little crazy that kidnapped a baby and did all this other stuff, and we don't know what happened to her. And she's still running amok now in this house. She happens to be the person that kind of killed the first kill. So you got this lady that just keeps going around and she's stabbing people. You know, the delivery guy comes from the hardware store, he gets killed. A kid goes into there to see something and he ends up getting kidnapped. Other people that go around, now that the two people, that are hooking up, one of them, one of the couples gets killed. They're in different parts of the house. And so you got all these about 6 deaths. The people are coming back from the bar and they start to find these bodies and people start flipping out. The lady starts to kill them all one by one, and she keeps repeating, you're my child, you're my baby. Like she's clearly disturbed, and clearly at the end, she still tries to get everybody. And and almost the whole crew has been wiped out. And then you got it just because his sister, there was 2 sisters, and this one was, locked away or whatever, but she just had this obsession that everybody was her baby. Like I said, for an indie film, it was really well done. I watched it with Mike, who he's not a horror guy. He is, but he's not like a me horror guy. So I got a lot of his input too, and he was really, into it. I'll say this, there were parts of it that were a little slow. The pacing was a little slowed down and it could have been sped up, but it actually suited the movie well to have it be kind of slow because you wanted to kind of get to see the town a little bit more. You wanted to see the inner workings a little bit more. You wanted to know a little bit more about everything that was happening. Um, because there were these kinds of, like, there was a guy working at, the hardware store. He was kind of peculiar. There was, scenes in there was another scene where they were at that they kind of dragged was when let me try to think where it was. Just them driving along and talking and just there was 2 crews, so having the 2 crews, I would have liked to know more about them all, but I got invested in the characters of the movie quite quick. They were all pretty likable. I could relate to them. They were all workers, guys, bunch of guys in a van. We're going to do a job, moving job. They all want to make money. They're a little bit older. And there's a couple of young bucks on the team. A typical kind of, if you ever work construction or anything like that, it's kind of that typical same vibe, that same feeling. And, I thought it suited the movie very well. The kills weren't overly done, although they were vicious. She was stabbing multiple times and pretty brutally. You didn't really see it. It wasn't this big bloody, gore fest. Everything was done, within reason. And I also thought, her secondary weapon was this like mallet, a metal hammer, almost like a meat tenderizer. And she would just like crack people over the skull with it really quick. And she was striking because she dressed all in white. She had really long, straggly white hair. So and you never saw her actual face, just her hair, the head, the back. It was interesting because in the beginning she almost looked like an angel or like a Jesus coming, to kill this lady with her being all white. It was an interesting movie. I would definitely give it 8 out of 10 stars. It is streaming on I believe Tubi. I know it's on Amazon Prime as well, and physical media, of course, which I always end up getting the physical media because who knows when the streaming won't work anymore. They're gonna want more money, or it all becomes unaffordable. You know what I mean, Vic? Eh, even like before when we were into wrestles, I look at pay-per-views now compared to then, and to watch an old pay-per-view, you got to be all this subscription. Well, I got a bunch of them on Blu-ray. I got my favorite ones to watch. Same thing with the movies. I got a whole library that I wouldn't even have to subscribe for months unless I wanted something really new that I couldn't get. That wasn't out for physical media yet, but already streaming. But that would be my official review on that. What a busy week, though, it's been for Horror Nights. We've had already 2 interviews this week anyways, as it is. 3, really, if you include Sunday.
It's been very busy.
been Sunday, Monday. I talked to the Alex today. We talked VCR Willie, which is going to be this whole series of like this analog horror, a whole thing. It's really quite intricate and different, and I really into it.
Where did
I
the
have
last
to
episode
say,
go?
what is it?
Last episode streaming live. I was in the Project Unknown Facebook page, which should have been streamed on, and I didn't see it.
I streamed on it, and it gave me an error for that. Were you streaming something out at the time?
Yeah, it was supposed to end at 2:30.
I started at 2, so
I
no, I started at 3. Yeah, I don't know why it did give me the error, and then when I started, it didn't re-air there.
Fucking technology.
I figured that one of your shows was still running.
One of our shows.
Well, I don't know what you were running. It might have been a personal project, a personal unknown project. I don't know. Maybe you were doing Brattleboro hooker autopsies. How do I know what videos you're making on your own? Although that might be a good Wednesday episode. Are they human or are they not?
Hookers of Brattleboro? Are they trans or are they not?
Well, I mean,
fucking town's pathetic, anyways.
I don't know. There's got to be something horror we can do there. There's got to be a story to be found or told.
Whether it's 1, 2, 5 years, I do not care. I am out of this shithole. Period. I'm done.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. I hope you come closer.
I quit. That is it. This area is not for me. I've done a thorough investigation in the Winter County area by then. Move on.
No, I mean,
that's why I'm keeping quiet during this review today, because I have some things I could say.
But have you watched the movie yet? I sent you the link.
Yeah, somebody sent me the link, and I saw it. And the thing, the hustle.
Well, what was your take on it? Because I mean, like I said,
I would agree with the 8 out of 10, but the no show tonight drops our credibility. 0 now.
Well, I mean, I can't fault somebody for being sick. If I didn't feel good, Vic, I would do the same.
But you mentioned someone before the recording time. Remember, we had that guy who canceled 5 minutes after, and
but he said for a different reason. This person didn't say they weren't going to come on. They said they would be on at another time or later when they feel better, which is totally acceptable. I mean, let's face it.
You're not a priority to me. I need to think of an excuse. I'm sick.
That could be the case. I could be totally being lied to, and that's fine too.
It's just the way
it's happened. How am I gonna know? How many wrestlers you think lied to me over the years? How many times have they told me, family emergency or something else, and it hasn't been that?
You mentioned the W word, the wrestling word. Sucks about BRG. Sucks about BRG.
I did see that, and I did want to mention that was kind of upsetting to me. I'm a big fan of his, and hopefully he does make a good comeback, because he was on a nice run. He was doing MLW, doing all this. But on a positive note, I mean, if you do want to mention it, our friend Vinny Pacifico is like starring in a horror movie, and he actually said that he would come on to Horror Nights to talk about it and talk the horror movie.
Welcome.
Well, I will, but I just thought that was cool, because it's a little bit different realm, and he's really big into horror. I see him posting on a lot of the same stuff that I post on in the horror world. But no, I mean, again, I had questions written. I wanted to know about, for instance, I wanted to know about location of, this and where, if this house, had to be rented out, or was it a house that he owned, or how was that? Because the house was pretty nice location. And again, that diner scene. And I just wanted to kind of, poke around, with budget and such. Because like I said, my friend even said it's a very well-made movie for an indie film. It didn't have an indie feel. It had it had a different feel. So, I mean, like I said, hopefully he does come on. Hopefully it is the first thing. He doesn't feel good. He's going to come on, and he doesn't. It's not like that. Because, like I said, I do have questions for it. Um, and like I said, I enjoyed it. I'd probably watch it again. It has a rewatch value. And again, I can relate to the characters, and I think that's important. I was talking to another person yesterday, was it, I think, or somebody, that if you can't relate to the characters, then at that point, it doesn't matter if they're good or bad. If you can't relate to them, then you don't feel bad for them, then you might as well just be rooting for the killer to kill them all. You're indifferent regardless. And in a movie, if you want to portray the bad guy, you need to make you feel for the good guy. You want to see them live. You want to see them survive. You want to see them make it. If you don't, then, like, again, you'll just be rooting for the bad guy. There's been plenty of movies where people have been very annoying to me that I'm just like, well, I hope he actually, nobody makes the movie. I hope nobody survives. And in this movie, there was people in here that I really enjoyed the character that didn't make it, that actually had a good kind of basis.
I guess I'm just keeping my mouth shut this episode.
Well, it's only partly we're talking about this. We're going to be doing other things as well. We are going to talk other horror. Scream is coming out with the new Scream movie that's bringing Matthew Lillard back into the series. And also it's a speculation how that's going to work because, I don't really think he survived. So either they're going to be a flashback scene or it's going to be something else. But did he survive? Wasn't he the one that got the TV dropped? Oh, he's the one that was shot in the head. I don't really remember. I haven't watched the first Scream in a very long time. I kind of fell off on that franchise just because there's been so many of them.
There's fucking 7 of them.
Well, it's that's what I'm saying. That's a lot.
Like a fucking okay, you're just milking the prostate too much.
Well, it's a lot of films for a whodunit, in my opinion. If you want to go that route, even Hellraiser was 7 films was too much.
It proves what I said a long time ago. People have no creativity anymore. None. Zero. Let's go back. It's like the WWE going back to the gobbledygooker. Let's go back. This would be a good idea. No. We want something new, fresh. That's what Terrifier was so great when it came out. Because it was new. It was fresh.
Yeah, people wanted a visceral murdering clown that wasn't. I think at the time that wasn't supernatural, but was a lot darker than what we were getting with Pennywise, and that's what he was. And he wasn't a supernatural in the beginning. He was still alive until he killed himself at the end of the first one. And I think now with him in supernatural territories, it kind of changes the whole.
Now, did he kill himself in the end of the first one, or was it just one of those like he should have killed himself, but it's like because of the bullet, it was like fucking like a fraction?
No, he was actually literally dead, and he came back in the morgue.
Well, yeah, I remember that part.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was one of those like, was it Halloween one? One of the Halloween.
No, because there's a point that they give birth to his head. Like
that was the second one. And
the second one, they give birth to his head. So
the end of the second one, that's when it gets the supernatural part. But it's like before, I thought it was like, you know, the medical feelings these days. Oh, he's dead, and he's like really alive.
Well, yeah, it could have been one of those at that point. Who knows? But by the second one, they just ran with the supernatural aspect of it. And so, it worked though for the first one. The second one, it went a different direction. I thought it was a little bit more cinematic. It had its good points though. It had its good kills. I do like the skinning scene. I think it's innovative. There's not a lot of skinning scenes out there where people get scalped. There isn't. There's not enough of it.
Yeah, the second one it was playtime then.
Yeah, and the third upped the ante, and they added in more. And I heard fourth was gonna go batshit crazy.
Man, the fourth one's gonna be banned from like 14 different countries.
Yeah, the fourth one is just gonna. If it's the final one, it's gonna be nuts. But then I also read today, if you kind of follow along with the producers and stuff, one of the producers, Fuzz on the Lens, put out a movie themselves. Michael Levy directed it, and that's Stream. And they used, the Art the Clown character there, Thornton. They used him for one of the kills. It's like 4 kills. Basically, it's a game. You got a game that plays by points. Whoever does the most creative kill, for every creative kill, you get points on the board. Whoever has the most points wins. Players can be taken out, though, if they get killed. The game ends when all the people and the guests in the hotel are dead. And this guy comes right in, kills the host of the hotel. They overtake this whole hotel. And the movie was brilliant because they have so many cameos in it. Everybody from like Tim Curry to Mark Holton to anybody you can think of that was at a convention, probably the weekend they shot that. They used it in that film and just used them for a second or a minute short here. So it's kind of like that Rat Race film where you just see all these horror icons just all throughout the film. And it's great. So they're going to make a sequel. Obviously, it took off. And I heard they're going to actually also add a new killer, which is going to be played by Mike Giannelli, who was the first Art the Clown. So before Terrifier came out, the movie, there was the short All Hallows Eve. And that was 3 short films all about Art the Clown. That Art the Clown wasn't played by the same person. It was played by Mike Giannelli. So they're going to be actually bringing him in too, and you're going to have 2 killers from both have played Art the Clown in different, both directed by Damon Leone, though. It's going to be pretty cool, I think, the sequel. I look forward to seeing what they do with it. They brought in some comedy writer too. I forget from where. It was like a big deal though. One of the what are those 4 guys? They do forget the show, but they're funny. And because it's a comedy horror. There's definitely comedy involved. But they brought in a comedy writer to kind of help write too. So I really look forward to seeing that and what they do with that whole franchise as well. Because Stream is just another, kind of fun modern film that it's fun. It's fun to watch.
It was
Is it mind-breaking horror? No.
back in the day was fun. Now it's just like again.
No. Well, no, I think a game where people get killed for points on the board is fun. I think where nobody really ended it and there was people still playing and the game never ended because you see people watching this game after in bars and restaurants, rich people, poor people. People are losing and betting and winning money, so the game's still being played.
Game.
Yeah, similar, but
Yeah,
but
like
even worse.
Mr.
It's like
Beast games or Squid Games. That's the same thing.
it's like
It's
a red
just-
room. It's a big red room. But
It's just, we just say, "Oh, that's entertainment." Meanwhile, team is going down there.
one of the kills in the movie I thought was super entertaining because it was the pair with Thornton. He has a female partner too, and they all wear masks. They're players. They play a game of tic-tac-toe on a guy's chest with a knife, and it's fucking pretty fun to watch. I mean, it was I haven't seen anybody play tic-tac-toe on anybody's chest in a while in a movie. I don't know if I ever actually have. I mean, I know eventually if it goes that direction, it's going to get the Saw treatment where you got to keep upping the kills and making things worse. But if they keep it light enough, they shouldn't have to do that.
After a while, these movies end up on Mystery Science 3000.
Well, they all do. I mean, every horror movie does. Every horror movie that keeps going does. A lot of them started there, but then they become famous enough after, or so many people have seen them on Mystery Science that they become cult classic, and people want to rewatch them.
No one wants to watch Puppet Master Retro. Trust me, no one wants to watch that.
I don't know. I think all the Puppet Master movies have a little bit of something special in them.
Well,
Are they all good? No, but
you gotta say like you gotta put Demonic Toys versus Puppet Master up there. I mean, come on.
it's not the greatest film, but for what it was a good comedy. It was a good movie as a kid. I can't say looking back now that it's this great cinematic none of these movies are great cinematic masterpieces. They're not mind-bending, changing, genre-changing movies. They're not gonna fucking blow your mind. They're not gonna make you think for days. None of these movies that we're talking about are there, but they are entertaining at best. And as a kid, these movies were fun to watch. Would I mean, Puppet Master today, I've seen 1 and 2 recently because they were on streaming and I was watching them. They were good, but they weren't as fun as when I was a kid. Not a lot of these movies aren't as fun as when I was a kid.
Puppet Masters are Toy Stories.
Well, I mean, I think Puppet Masters had, when I watched it as a kid, I didn't know about the whole Nazism and all of that that was going on, and they were actually whatever. But at the end of the day, the puppets were actually good guys, weren't they?
It was like the third one is when they turned.
Yeah, and I think that's when I started to be like, okay, this isn't really gonna, what are we watching here? And I think that's that can happen with almost any horror character. Same thing with Freddy. By the third film, people liked him. They weren't afraid anymore. Same thing with Chucky. Maybe Chucky, it was more like 4. I think 3 they still enjoyed. That was the army one, maybe, or whatever. I think he was still kind of creepy. But by 4, he was cracking jokes, and people were fucking like, yeah, this is comedy. Leprechaun happened after 2. 2 is just weird, but 3 was a comedy. There's a lot of movies, either the characters go too far and they become comedies, or like you say, they end up on Mystery Science Theater. It's a hard line to play. Because some people, they have this whole story of a movie, and it ends up needing 2 or 3 movies to tell that story. Other people just see it being a success and want to play off it.
For the record, nothing wrong with Mystery Science Theater 3000.
No, there isn't. I'm not saying
Nothing
that.
wrong
I
with-
mean,
nothing wrong about smoking a fat joint and just like sitting back and just fucking watching the nonsense. Nothing wrong with that.
no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not saying that, but I know what you mean when they say where they end up, because some movies just don't go nowhere. I think that's why Tubi got such a bad rep at one point, because they were just taking movies for everywhere, and they didn't care on the quality of it. So you had a whole bunch of low quality films on there.
Yeah, but I'd much rather watch something new that's lower tier than a Screen 7. That's why I was so open.
Well,
about,
that's why I like the
so open
independence,
about
because
Cannibal Holocaust. It was just like it was something new. I was interested. If it was
we
like
can
Return of the
watch
Living
new
Dead, they
movies
went
all
crazy.
day.
I'm like, eh.
That's why I enjoy foreign film, because all those movies are new concepts. A lot of Americans don't play with the ideas or don't sexualize it in different ways, or everything is different. If you ever seen the movie Anatomy of Hell, it's basically this guy gets propositioned by a girl. The guy is homosexual. The girl just wants to be noticed, and she hires him for like 5 days, and he's allowed to like do whatever he wants to her sexually, whatever. And like it starts off with like him just kind of talking, and then he ends up doing all sorts of crazy shit with her. And just fucking around and exploring her and everything, because he is homosexual, but he also doesn't mind getting blowjobs and everything else. And it just becomes this really weird kind of erotic movie. And the ending is, kind of artsy, and it's up to, kind of viewer what you think. But again, it's a different type of horror. You're dealing with something that's more psychologically driven, and you see someone, that all they want to do is just be noticed, and it takes them to have to pay for it, and be noticed in a negative way. It shows the depravity. That's what I'm saying. These French extremities films, if you watch High Tension, if you watch even Frontiers or Martyrs, these are all new concepts. None of these movies have been done before. You're not watching franchise films. You're watching one and done films. You're watching films that are just made. And some of them been remade by the American audience, but they're not,
because
sequels
this
and
country
thirds.
sucks. The Western country sucks.
Well, of course they do.
Everything does sucks. The politics suck. The movies suck. The women suck. It just sucks. International is the way to go because they have more commitment. They understand what loyalty is all about and what creativity is all about without any barriers, now without going like, oh, geez, this person might not like it. It's like, no, fuck that. I would decapitate that bitch and fucking throw fuck her. They don't care.
No, because their standards are different, and what they want to show on film is different, and their ideas of horror are different. Like
Because
Japanese
it's
films have.
reality.
Well, if you look at Japanese horror, is very centralized around folklore and ancient laws and different, spirits, and a lot of scary. Like on that note, where, like I said, French movie was more extreme and extremities. If you watch these fucking films, you see visceral, crazy horrors. I showed you that other one where they're like dudes in the truck fucking getting head from a fucking head, just the head.
Yep.
And this is why that Siberian film didn't bother me too much, because I knew this. Like, the sad part is, this is reality. Like, you watch Hostel, it's reality.
Well, I mean, look at The Files and look at Hostile. You don't think that shit doesn't exist? Well, of course. Wherever there's money, there's gonna be this kind of. People have fucking sick needs and wants and desires, and when they have the enough money to afford it, they just buy it. But there's also I will say this: there's sick people in the world that offer themselves up, and you just seen it in the news recently. Some lady put out an ad or a guy or whatever that wanted to be brutally murdered, and he met with somebody and got brutally murdered.
There was a case in England where a guy got arrested for like cannibalism, like eating the other guy. Yep. And then, but it turned out that there was like fucking papers and shit like that, signs saying like
it was totally.
It was like he wanted this. He wanted this, and then they were just like you just ate someone, so you had to do something about that. But murder or anything was just like.
They couldn't get him for murder. They had to get him on cannibalism. But there was another lady that I think came to the U.S. or left the U.S. and went to another country and put out an ad. She wanted to be brutally raped and killed or whatever, and she was.
Yeah, but it's awful. Because before I've been on Craigslist before, and as we all know, and I saw an ad one time from a girl. I want to be eaten. So I was like, hey, Victor Sin here. I go over there. Fucking straps, butcher knives, and fucking saws, and it's like, what the fuck is this? She's like, yeah, when I say I want you to eat me, I want you to eat me. It's like, no, I'm not gonna fucking eat you. So
there's people that are depraved and sick in this world, and that's why some of these horrors aren't far from the truth.
Because that's why Victor likes the hair pie, but not the meat pie.
Well, that's good. Stay away from the meat pie. You don't know where the meat's coming from. Oh, do we now? We're eating each other. We're living. We're all vampires.
Well, yeah. Always remember, McDonald's sells like what 1.2 million burgers a day. Where's the meat coming from? Mazel tov. Cheers.
Well, I mean, and look at how many kids go missing a year, and then do the math.
Yeah, we're starting not to give a shit about our kids, aren't we?
I don't think we ever did. That's the thing.
Well, we've always amassed it before. Now
they were always used, though. Look at like the Cabbage Patch Kids and stuff. The whole Cabbage Patches, and when they had all these orphans around, and there was things where kids were just being born every couple of minutes, and we had kids running en route, like working. You would see 1800s photos with kids working on the railroads and kids in mines and kids working, kids doing jobs, but you never seen parents. Where were all the parents? Why did we have all these orphans?
Bullshit going like the population.
Yeah, but where was all the orphans? Why so many orphans? And that's the thing that. There was a whole thing about this. You want to go down that rabbit hole that, a lot of these kids were just made in incubators. They were populating so they could do whatever. It didn't matter.
That's the one big plus in me to stick around the area. And that is, if the world blows up, this area is going to be the last place to go. It's so exclusive.
Well, the problem is if a zombie apocalypse starts, you're fucking ground zero out of Brattleboro. That's the downside. Most likely it will start there.
Probably, most likely.
Some meth head will bite the head off of a bird and fucking become a squirrel mutating rabies hunting zombie. They'll eat Planet Hank and then, well,
People will be bitching on social media and not doing anything about it. Other people would take pictures of dead bodies.
there'll be photos and videos of the whole ordeal, and everybody will be kind of getting viral hits until it's them that dies, and that's how the whole world will end. Everybody will just keep playing off the social media until there is no more social media.
Social media is evil.
Well, it's controlled by evil people, Vic.
It's, all they do is get our energy.
Why don't you start your own social media network? You're evil enough. You've made it. You've reached the level of sin that is required to start your own network.
I just record my adventures, and people are just should be thankful to be tagging along.
Yeah, but I mean, even now, you look wicked. You have that Lex Luger kind of look. You could destroy Superman with your stare. Why not become the next trillionaire and just start doing your own thing?
I just want to be left alone.
Well, to do that, you need your own private island, your own freaking transportation, and your own sources of everything, food, everything. So you buy this island, you start a livestock, you get fucking a private cook, and that's it. You just do your shows.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody will try to exploit this though and make a horror movie off any of these Epstein list or movies or any of this?
Possible.
I thought of it. I thought of doing like a cheesy Pizzagate exploitation film.
Yeah, pizza cake. Is it always cheese pizza?
Well, that's a little girl, supposedly. I mean, there is pizza with pepperoni, pizza with sausage, half cheese. I don't know.
I always your videos cheese pizza. Because I was like, why is it always cheese pizza? It's like, what if it was some pepperoni or some fucking or some jalapenos on that shit?
The jalapenos mean some. Olive means, I think, African or something. There's a whole code. It depends if that's the real code, but supposedly somebody decoded it all. I mean, is pizza a code word? Most likely, because let's face it. I mean, no people should be talking about pizza that many times. But does it mean children? Does it mean hooker? Does it mean drugs? That I don't know. That I can't tell you. Because if I was elite with other elite people, I would use code words to hide drug use. I would use code words to hide even if, prostitution. And I mean, don't forget, Epstein was already convicted of soliciting prostitution, and it was a minor at that. Way before any of this even transpired. I think it was like 2008 or something. So he would be using code words because he doesn't want to be getting caught, even if it was a normal prostitute.
It's just something that simple. Then
Well, it is that simple.
Everyone's that stupid. So I buy.
Well, at the end of the day, you have these, why it got so big or why it is the way it is because you got people that have played into it. So now you got Ellen DeGeneres on her show talking about she, had a pizza party. You have, Chris Rock doing a skit. Not Chris Rock, one of these fucking actors. I don't even know. Maybe it is Chris Rock. He's doing a whole skit. You know what? You wanna share it? I'm gonna send you a link. Hold on. Because I got nothing going on here. I'll send you a link right now, and you can screen share this, and you tell me what you think of this, because they're laughing in your face.
Should we talk about this tomorrow when we talk about conspiracies?
Well, this will bring it in as we're almost out of time for tonight.
Okay.
Oh, something went wrong in YouTube. What wrong in YouTube?
There's fucking wrong.
See, already there's something wrong with YouTube. But because I feel like it is getting, mixed in with there's been a lot of horror movies where people have gone missing. There's been a lot of people, horror movies where people have, disappeared, children have gone missing. I've just watched one recently, a Spanish film where, this whole movie, this guy is bringing these little girls and these children to, he thinks they're bringing them to the aliens are coming. And in reality, at the end, you see this doctor getting charged, this guy getting charged with selling children's organs. And then you see this guy just running. He sees that, he kills himself. So you realize that he wasn't taking this little girl out to do any of this alien activity. She wasn't going to go meet any alien. She was going because, he was going to kill her. And the doctor was going to take her organs. They were going to sell her on the market. And you don't really know that to the end. And it's kind of brutal reality. Again, it's real because this shit happens. This shit happens.
Fucking life, unfortunately.
And that's the scariest part of it all, Vic, because life can be scarier than cinematics. Here's the link. You tell me what you think of it. Hold on, I gotta go into Facebook here. Because I thought it was quite interesting. And while you're getting that, did you see the post I sent? I thought that was pretty weird. One wrestling lady asked, do autistic kinksters lean heavy towards trains? And one of the other wrestlers say, some do for sure. I think that's fucking rude. I'm sorry.
What was it again? I was against the things up.
Well, one of the wrestlers said, one of these wrestling personnel people said, do autistic kinksters lean heavy towards trains? And one of the other wrestlers say, some do for sure. I just find that to be kind of a weird statement to be brought up. Wouldn't you say? I mean, isn't that just kind of... I didn't even know there was a kink for autism. Is that on your kink list when you do your list of kinks?
No, it's not on my kink list.
That's what I'm saying, but coming out of wrestlers' mouths, I just find that weird. And again, these are people that also show pictures of their dead children.
They should be fucking... The guys should be blessed that I didn't see them.
Well, that's what I'm saying, these are the same thing, like, you see these things, it's like when you saw the dead person, they showed the dead kid, it's like, what's going through their mind? But God forbid any of us said anything about anything else, we'd be crucified on the spot.
And it wasn't fucking just a dead person, a dead kid.
Well, yeah, that's even worse. But play that clip I sent you, and then we can discuss a little bit, and then we will be done for the night, because it is an interesting clip.
Porn. YouTube.
At the end of the dinner party, Seinfeld came walking out. He was like,
nobody go anywhere. You guys are in for a treat. Tonight, we're going to have some brick oven pizza.
Everybody went crazy in the party. What? Oh my God, brick oven pizza. What?
One lady was like, how many cheeses, Jerry? Jerry was like, 7 different cheeses, 7 different cheeses.
People went crazy. By the way, all these people were white. These are all fucking white people. They start chanting, bop, 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 bop.
The fuck is bop, man?
Bop, bop, bop.
What the fuck is bop? White woman leaned over the table. She was like, it's short for brick oven pizza. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. I get it.
Seinfeld had some Italian men walk out. They had pizza-like garb on. They start passing out the pizza saying Italian shit.
I don't know Italian. It just dawned on me, actually, as I told that joke. What I'm doing is racist right now. I apologize. People were eating the fucking pizza, going crazy. Oh my God, I taste the cheeses, Jerry. I taste the cheeses. They bought me my piece of pizza. I took a bite. I couldn't fucking believe it. Best pizza I've ever had in my life. Best fucking pizza I've ever had. Had some type of lettuce on it. I've never tasted this shit. Told my wife, babe, it's got some type of lettuce on it. Told my wife, babe, it's got some type of lettuce on it. Wait till you taste the lettuce. This white woman, she leaned over again. She was like, it's arugula. What? It's arugula. Oh, shit. I took another bite. I got caught up. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop. What an amazing night. It's a fucking amazing night, start to finish, man.
And I mean, that's just a weird joke to be fucking saying. There's no need for that joke to be said. And he said in a time at the height of Pizzagate. And again, it's just the way, he's not the only one. Others have done all of this. Made jokes or made, conversation about going to pizza parties, Alan being one of them, and a few others, and getting overly excited about it. It's just a way of them mocking people. Now, whether they're talking about drugs or they're talking about children, either which way, they're all involved and they're mocking.
Because we don't do anything but bitch and moan on social media. That's it. Or protest in our small town.
Well, don't people want to see what's going on? They really want to investigate. People should be going and investigating. What does it take to go to one of these parties? What's really going on? Get somebody to go to the inside.
People rather protest over a felon who got shot in the face in Minnesota than protest about the files and our kids and protecting our kids. That's the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to say this. Where's the protest for the Epstein files? There isn't any.
No, there is not. There is no protest over nothing, Vic. And I think that people aren't believing it because you know what? You want to talk about the conspiracy? They spent 5 years giving us AI technology that we can all make these crazy things to the point that none of us believe anything that we see now. So now when you release something real, half of us believe it's AI. Half of us don't believe it's real. They've watered it down to the point that nobody even knows what it is and don't care. And they did it intentionally.
Thus the pussification of America.
Well, welcome to it. Other countries are mocking us. They got the pictures of Satan and holding our president, and they're burning him alive. They're burning statues. They're doing all sorts of shit in other countries. Yeah.
What's wrong with Satan?
Well, because supposedly these people are all worshiping Baal. They're worshiping the ancient demon god. But that's not even true. We're going to get into that tomorrow. We're going to talk about who they're really worshiping. And I think you're going to be surprised, Victor. I think you're going to be surprised because it's a nice little twist. It's a nice little turn.
I look at it as if people really wanted a demonstration. Look at my finger right here, okay? We all see a different angle of this finger, and we all interpret it in different ways. But at the end, we know what it means. It means fuck you. But it means fuck you. But it's like you look at I believe there's a higher power of energy out there that's above God, above Jesus, above Satan, and all that stuff. And they're just an angle. Yeah, we worship a God. We worship, the higher power. But it's from a different perspective that we.
Well, yes. Well, that's true.
But it's the same entity at the end.
No, that is true. That is true. But in this case, you're using
my middle finger, but I figured that would get people's attention.
No, it does. It was very effective. But in reality, or in this case of the reality of it, they're using Jewish lore and they're using Hebrew and showing you that the old gods of the Canaanite people like Baal and Moloch and all these ancient beings that had purposes for whatever reason. Some of them were fertility gods. Some of them did even do children's sacrifice. Because you got to remember, we lived in a society at the time that people believed that if the gods got angered, they would rain hell upon them. So they would do whatever it took to appease the gods.
And sometimes it's going to another god to say, like, hey, can you talk to
Yes, but we can't whitewash and say that children or humans or anything, animals were never sacrificed. They all probably were. It got to a point that sacrifices were no longer needed or their rituals were different, but people stopped worshiping these gods because they were killed off. They were fought with by the new god that is now the god that the Hebrews worship. It's pretty much Jesus, the God of the Bible, of the Christian Bible, not Jesus, but the God. And this is the new God that's been in power since the old gods were killed. And supposedly this new God is not what everybody thinks it to be. And they're framing the old gods, or the new God is what they are to be, and these elites are calling upon the ancients to get what they want. I mean, there's so many conspiracies and things, but I do know that a lot of demons, a lot of demons that are demons today were gods of the past. People looked at them a lot differently. They weren't looked at as demons with horns. They were looked at gods for different reasons. You would call upon this one because you want to have a child. That's why you would call upon Baal. Baal was for actually doing that. Like, it's kind of like with The Exorcist, and I was talking about it earlier. You know, they use the demon Pazuzu. You know, you can see him right here. Here's a nice picture of him. You know, they have him in the movie. You know, he finds it. He possesses the little girl and so forth. And that's a beautiful story. But this is not a Christian god. This is or demon. It's an Assyrian demon. It's a wind demon, a southwest wind demon that, yes, while brings plague and pestilence, also protects pregnant women and small children from harm. Because there's a bigger demon called Lamashatu that ends up trying to hurt women and trying to hurt children. And this demon actually fights that and wins. So you have two evils, one being a lesser evil, actually protecting people. So in reality, it wouldn't have actually harmed Reagan. It would have protected Reagan from whatever demon that was trying to harm Reagan or trying to get inside of her. It kind of, I wish they just didn't give it a name and just called it the devil and used a different image. I don't know. It doesn't fit with the accuracy of history or, lore or anything. But regardless, here we are. Like I said, Christianity, all the major religions demonized any of the gods of the old. Any pagan gods, any of them, all demonized.
But they exist still.
They exist still, yes, but they're considered demons. But they're not. Like, people, worship Pan. He's the god of sex. But Christianity has made him a demon goat, but that's not really the true case. He might be a goat, but is a goat of sex.
Greatest of all time.
Well, that too. But, a lot of, like I said, if you go to the Bible and take names, a lot of these names weren't demons previous to the Bible, because the Bible isn't the oldest written scripture. There's scriptures in books written way before that, religions that were predate Christianity way before that. So, I mean, again, the beings have always existed. They just have been changed, and the names have changed. They're demons. And even Jesus, you got people out there. Jesus is a mixture of, 5 or 6 different religions, head figure, pulling things from Osiris, pulling things from Ashtar, pulling things from all these other religions.
Jesus
that all have similar stories.
Jesus is a cool dude.
He's a cool dude, but first of all, I mean, there's historical facts that don't make sense. He's obviously not going to be this white dude.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm not saying that I would be like going to church Sunday. But I'm just saying like
No, but
it's just like it's
even,
something.
even
How you
with
doing?
even with him, if he wasn't fabricated, if he was fabricated, it was taken from 5 or 6 other religions that had similar characters that did similar things, that died in similar ways. So I mean, all through history, there's been almost this one person that's kind of appeared under different names or different times to show almost humanity a different way or the way. I mean, there's also people out there that believe Jesus is Lucifer,
My
the
question.
fallen angel, that he's not God's son. He's the fallen angel Lucifer, and he came to earth as a man because he was put here.
I didn't hear that, but my question to you is, what are you giving up for Lent? That starts tomorrow.
I'm giving up podcasting. I figured it'd be nice, easy vacation.
And people
I-
saying
do
that
we- do
anyone says
people-
guys like you go against my religion.
Do people still give up Lent? I didn't
Yeah,
know if people
people-
still did that.
Yeah, new thing at church where we have a big event, the ash.
The last time I gave something up for Lent was cigarettes, and I never smoked cigarettes again.
I gave up drinking one time.
I mean, you can give up. See, I'm not a daily drinker or even a weekly drinker. I may be like,
And I did barely beat the self pleasure challenge.
I mean, I don't know. I could give up smoking. I guess I could give up weed. I've done that, but then my anxiety gets out of whack.
Wait, what the hell? No, I'm not trying to commit suicide. What are you talking about?
But I mean, I don't know. I haven't really decided, and maybe I'll give up sugar or caffeine. Maybe I'll give up caffeine.
Give up caffeine.
We'll see. We'll find something. Is tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow's the first day of Lent. It's also the first day of Ramadan. It's a bunch of religious days tomorrow. It's been a busy week. You got holidays, religious days, all sorts of shit going on. Easter's super early this year, isn't it?
Like April 8th, something like that.
Too early for me. I like it when it's like later April. The weather's better. I mean, early April, you can still get freaking snow.
Project Unknown has 2 investigations locked in.
What are the I know you got Bloody Mary going down. What else do you got going on?
We're gonna prove that what you see on TV is all like movie based, like Hollywood likes. We're gonna do a cemetery during the daytime to show that that activity does not take time off during the day. It's continuously happening.
Let me ask you, you gonna visit anybody you know?
Nah,
Have you visited anybody you know with the devices yet? Have you done that yet? No,
Not
either
yet.
have I either have I to been honest. I could, it's very accessible because the cemetery I go to I have my grandparents there and so forth, but I have not actually tried any of the equipment on any of them.
I could just one, but it's like how far out is going on a drive?
And see, I'm a 2-minute walk if at that.
Yeah, I'm like a 10-minute drive, but
I just didn't know if you messed around with it or got. Are you gonna bring the equipment though to play around with it and see what you get out there?
oh yeah. I mean, when I do that investigation, the equipment will be out. These are equipments will be out for this one. This will be a official Project Unknown investigation.
Very good. Very cool. I like to see it. I think having the equipment, doing that part of it's a great accomplice and takes on its own. I mean, initially it's the reason why you're doing it anyways, but it also just gives a good kind of. It works well with the other part of the interviews and talking to other guests and talking to people that have seen or witnessed or even from the other side. Because I'm sure we're gonna include people that are. As we get down the list of people to interview, there will be people that will tell you, I've had people that come on and talk to me and say they're demons. I've had one time I met a lady that said she was, literally Lilith. She was the first temptress. She tempted Adam. She dead believed it too, that she was in the Garden of Eden.
After the Daywalker episode, though, the investigations will be evenings.
Well, daywalkers exist too. I just hope you don't run into any zombies. I mean, if you think about it, Night of the Living Dead started off in the day.
True.
Okay. And you out there, you could be like Barbara, you know.
Me too.
I did make a funny AI video where I told you there was one coming for you.
Dude, it's end my misery then, please.
No, you wouldn't. Your luck, you end it, they would just make you a zombie and you'd still have function.
It's like that Simpson episode when the zombies get home and he's like tapping his head like sniff around and it's like push him aside like he has
No
brain.
brains. No brains.
That's gonna happen to me. I get offended because like, wait a second.
You just become a half zombie. You still got to do your parental duties
Yeah.
and podcast at least twice a week.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It was like I said, I was looking forward to the interview tonight. I get people
Us
get
too.
out
Yeah, but it's just you could
because I watched the movie. If I didn't watch the movie, then I'd be like whatever. But I took the time Sunday with my bad back before I had the interview with the other guy to watch the movie. And I'll be honest, Mike wanted to watch something else. He wanted to watch a freaking this German film I have, and I was like, well, I have to watch this first. And so we ended up watching this first, and then he never ended up gotten to watch this film because then he ended up watching wrestling or something. Not good wrestling either. He was watching my old matches and stuff that we did in the backyard and shit. Because he was in a few of them too.
Does he have his passport ready?
Huh?
Does he have his passport ready?
Mike?
Yeah, you need
Yeah,
one for
he
Saudi
does. He
Arabia.
has he showed me his ticket for Saudi.
Jesus Christ.
I said, bless you, God. I honestly did. I said, I give you, but you know, you're going in a very dangerous area. First of all,
He probably's hoping that you go with him.
no, he knows I won't go there. I mean, just there was okay. Put it this way: Sami Zayn didn't go there for a reason.
Yeah.
In the beginning, Mike should listen to that and not go for the same reason. Not to mention, we live in a very volatile world right now where they just don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking tell me about it.
And if Mike isn't a big spender and spending money, then they don't give a fuck about Mike.
Nope. There's places like those, they want the American dollar.
They want the American dollar. You got to go in there and drop thousands. They'll say you're worth something. Okay, let them go. If you just go in there and pinching pennies, they're going to fucking kill you. They don't care. And if you fucking break the law, they'll kill you. There's all sorts of different things you can do that just are illegal. And then if he doesn't dress a certain way, if he shows off his legs, whatever it is, I don't even know. But
it's also one of the countries, if you go in there as they, them, you leave.
But there's nothing, but you got to understand, there's nothing the U.S. can do for you. You're just a nobody. So if they detain you, the U.S. isn't going to come after you.
No.
You're not even an athlete. The athletes, they might come after, but if you're just a citizen.
Here comes the money.
There's no, they don't deal with terrorism, U.S. They don't play with that.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Who are they buying? Who are they paying for? When's the last time they negotiated and gave out? They didn't even give the money for that lady's mother.
Brittany Garner.
Yeah. She's probably locked in your basement.
Oh, I didn't know I had weed on me. And the Russians fucking got her. Fucking dumb.
You've been feeding her your dad's pills, haven't you, Vic? Keeping her alive.
Why? Liability.
Well, you figured that exactly. Why are you gonna steal an old lady? That's like the people taking the kids. That's the worst thing you can do. What a fucking headache.
See an old lady there. It's like, what's that smell? Oh, you wear Depends. I gotta clean you now.
I bet the old lady be bitching at you too the whole time. You shame on you. You fucking shame on your mother. Shame on you. if it's not just a hoax, there is the thought in my head that this is all a hoax, because I mean, we live in a world that they can find anybody. They found Saddam Hussein, they found freaking Bin Laden, they're finding people in holes in another country, and you can't find where this old lady went and got disappeared to.
Yeah.
A U.S. American citizen in her own country gets abducted, held ransom, and nobody can figure this case out. But yeah, you got somebody coming on your show that's unraveled the mystery of the freaking Zodiac killer
That's a
from
maybe.
her own freaking couch.
That's a maybe.
I want to see if she can find this Ghana lady's mother. She's that good.
Don't have a lock-in schedule for that yet.
We know. Yes, I know, but I mean, at least you know a person. You know a person that has solved the case. I won't say that.
I know a person who knows a person that.
Well, you talk to a person that solved the case.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'll be honest. I had to do a phone call today. Okay, I got asked if I wanted to come on the show. I mean, not if I wanted to come up. They wanted to, if they hit me up and asked me if they liked the post, and so I hit him up. Would you like to come on the show? This guy's name is Prana Sharma. I'm probably butcher his name, but I said, hey, let me give you a call. He says, hey, I'm pretty open this week, but if you want, give me a call. We can talk more. He gives me his cell phone number. I said, okay, I'm in Boston. Give me a couple hours. I'll call you. And I called him. It was about a 15-minute phone call, Vic. It wasn't anything that you had to go through. It's very simple. He told me, what he does, what he's done, pitched to me, talked to me, asked me questions, how it would be done remotely, StreamYard, all that, Very simple, very friendly. No bullshit. And then I was just in my back of my head thinking that you had to talk for like almost an hour with that lady where she's analyzing you and your family. Just to get it. By that time, I don't even know if I would want her on as a guest. I'd be so filled with rage and animosity that I would be like, I'm just going to sacrifice you to the fucking demons that they're sacrificing these other people to.
She's lucky that it was because I know someone who knows.
Well, yeah, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend can still be friends, or at least be treated friendly. But I would just get so agitated with I maybe it's my old age, maybe it's just
first episode. I am not looking for that episode at all, and I do believe it's gonna happen.
It will happen. I don't want it. I think it'll be better than you think. I just think that it's got to be a lot of work, because it's going to be a lot of direction work. You got to redirect.
That's why I might just say, what, fuck it. I'm not going to be part of it.
I mean, I'll be honest. If I had to speak about this movie for the whole hour, What Lives Here, I could have slowed down my description of the plot. We could have went scene by scene. We could have talked about everything. I don't think people would find that interesting to me to break down a movie for a whole hour. I mean, I wouldn't watch a movie. I wouldn't watch an hour movie about another movie. I would just watch the fucking movie at that point. If I'm going to invest an hour into watching a movie about a movie that it's not even an official documentary or anything, it's a review, then I might as well just watch the goddamn whole movie that's an hour and a half or whatever and just watch it for myself. That's why I do like 15-minute reviews. I don't do full episode reviews. And I'll take that and I'll cut it down and I'll put that out separately from this episode. I mean, but that's just my personal preference. I know people that love to listen to podcasts over and over and over again. Funny thing is, I don't even like podcasts, Vic. I don't like to listen to podcasts. If someone tells me to listen to their podcast, I will listen to it. Like, I'll press the listen button and play button, and I will go in the other room and I'll go do my shit. I'll let it play.
Now, why listen to the show again? If you want my middle finger explanation again, my lecture, I give it to you right now again.
But I don't watch anybody. Like, I'm not even saying mine. I don't watch anybody's. I don't like podcasts.
I do listen to some, but not like the full episodes. Well,
I don't have the attention span for the full episode, but I don't know. I just don't.
I mean, there are a couple I listen to full episodes. I would be like, okay, no, next day I'll be like, all right, I'll finish the second
I
half.
think my kid ruined it for me with all his YouTubers that he watches in the gaming and them being all very annoying and loud and obnoxious. It kind of just gets me in the mood where I just want everybody to shut the fuck up. And
Yeah,
I'm probably annoying too. People probably listen to me and was like, Versace, shut the fuck up.
yeah, but if you notice, those people try to entertain kids.
Well, yeah, I'm not here trying to entertain the kids. I'm not trying to.
Here we
I'm
are,
not-
just in our underground.
Well, I don't want to entertain the kids. I don't want to get friendly with. I'm not a kid person. I love my son. You know, I love him. You know, like that. But I don't get how these. Again, living and knowing in the world that we lived in and what we just seen and what we heard and what we see and what we hear and all of that, I wouldn't even want to be a child entertainer at this point. Even if I was good and pure at heart, I wouldn't want to be thrown in that lump because I think at some point everybody's going down.
Kids love me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's different though. That's not you going to a park and playing with the children. That's just kids being gravitated towards you.
And it's just because like I volunteered for my kids like T-ball team or something like that.
Well,
You know,
I
I do it because it's my kid. You know, you want to be part of his life. You want to be so you put it. But when the kids go, like even today, they'll come walk by me like, "Hey, coach," and I'm just like, "Huh?" You know, it's like what the fuck? You know, it's like, "Oh, what's
No,
up?"
I mean, I get similar treatments because I bring my kid to school every day. I walk him
What's
to
up,
school,
Jimmy?
and
Jake? Whatever your name is.
And I'll be honest, I don't wear, I don't dress like all these other parents. I'm not wearing my fucking PJs with a horror shirt. I've shown up in other stuff. I went dressed up every day on the week of Halloween as something horrible, from a horror movie rather. And so people recognize me. And plus, they know me from just him. So they'll say hi, they'll wave. Kids enjoy that horror stuff. They'll be like, oh, Pennywise, oh, this, oh, that. You're the dude with the horror shirt. You're the dude that set up the Halloween. Because I did a big Halloween display. But I do that for myself and my kids, not so much to entertain the other kids. Like, it's cool that they enjoy and appreciate it, and I'm happy for it. But again, because I want to decorate. I don't know. It's different. I don't go out of my way to entertain stranger kids. I'm not mean to them, but I'm just saying I don't know. I find that we're living in a very weird time where like if you're over friendly towards children, you're gonna be called a pedophile. If you're under friendly, you're called a fucking something else. If you're too close to the line, you're fucking grooming. It's fucking a very weird time period. That's why like I don't advertise my show for kids. I try to keep an adult hours. I try to do it in a way that that it's not a child's product just because I mean I'm not saying that children shouldn't watch horror because there's tons of horror that children can and should watch because they're cinematically, important. Movies like Jaws are fine; they're cinematically important. And there's a bunch of others too, but if we're talking about, a fucking, you're talking Hostile or something. No, my 7-year-old ain't watching Hostile. He's not watching an extremity film. He's not watching a freaking psychological, snuff film where these kids are killing people. He's not watching any of that. He'll see bariatrics. He'll see stuff with some cool effects. He'll see something. I wouldn't let him watch it. It's
Eli
too fucking.
Roth?
Huh?
Eli Roth.
Yeah, but I wouldn't let him watch a kid watch it. And so with that being said, like I don't know, like I said, we live in a weird time.
That's for sure.
I mean, as a kid though, that's the thing. As a child, we probably would have snuck somewhere to watch that movie and giggle and talk about him, or be like, "Oh my god, you see that movie Hostile? It's fucking brutal. They killed these people and fucking tortured them, and almost like the Faces of Death movies that were out back when we were younger and shit. Like, oh my god, you see that?" And it would have that lore. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've never really advertised for the children. Even the gaming, I don't set it to kids only because I don't play for the kids. I play for myself and anybody else that wants to watch.
I know we're over the hour, but real fast. Who's Cindy Hart's ex-boyfriend?
Is he watching my show?
No, but I mean, Dan, what's his name? Dan.
Oh, no, that's not Dirtbag. Dirtbag Dan's is the wrestler and his friend. It's Don Kincaid.
Well, back in the days when I had him on the show, he said, yeah, he always put his videos, yes, for kids. And I always thought that, wait a second. I mean, that's kind of why. It's like, and he said for the extra clicks. And it's just like, why the hell would you prefer the extra clicks?
Okay, I'm gonna debunk you right now with I'm gonna debunk him right now, and that's why a lot of these people fail, because I know a lot of people that said this is for kids, and this is the problem. When you put those movies for this is for kids, it's not what you think. It's not saying that yes, this is kids friendly too. Let's make it for no, what it's saying is that you made this movie or this short or whatever it is for children. So instead of it being on regular YouTube,
It
it's
goes
on
to
YouTube Kids. You
Yeah, I thought
cannot
that's what it was.
comment on it. You can limit it, monetize it. You can't fully monetize it. You only can do limited because most of the advertisements won't touch children.
I was
Videos.
just thought you talking about wrestling and, it's the
Yeah,
way-
but and even so, all it would take would be one parent. Because I've seen him interview like TJ Tucker. If he put that as a kid's episode, all it would take would be one parent to watch that and hear their kid, flicking through and see that episode and hear, TJ rambling off with his swears. They could get the whole channel taken down because he put it for children only. And it's not supposed to have any language, violence, sexual content, anything. It's got to be made for kids. I know other wrestling people that did the same thing, and I told them, why are you putting your matches up like that? Because no one's watching them. And if they do, they're going to report it for violence.
Yeah.
But no, that's not a good thing. Don't do that. Unless you're a kid content creator. Now, the only exception I would say this is, let's say you and your son were doing a show. Right? You and Michael, let's say you guys were doing something, whatever it might be. Maybe it's outside. Maybe you guys are, setting off fireworks. I don't know. You're doing something, right? You will set that to kids only because it will protect your son.
Mhm.
YouTube itself might mandatory make it happen because there's a minor in there. Sometimes if a minor is in there enough or it shows context of the minor, they will forcibly manually make you put it to kids only. And this is again to protect the minor. You can't get comments, you can't do this, that, and so forth. And that's the only time. I mean, there's been a few times where I've said, hey, my kid wants to make a video, I let him do whatever he wants to do, and it gets to kids only, and he's talking to other kids, and that's it. But unless you're honestly like Coco Melon or somebody, you really shouldn't be doing kids only. You're not going to make money. These big giants dominate.
Yeah.
Even the kids that do the toys, you don't understand. Like Mattel sends them all these toys or cars and say, open them up and make videos.
I always just said not kid friendly because I swear. But anyways.
Well, yeah, people just think that it's supposed to include the children. It's like, no, it excludes everything else. And it's supposed to only involve the children. It's supposed to only be about the children. And that's what I'm saying. One swear on a kids-only video will get your whole channel at least a strike. Because you should have knowingly known that, and you physically clicked the button saying for kids only, knowing that it would harm a child by using the word. I've seen whole channels get taken down because of people making stupid mistakes like that. They'll put a kids only and then they'll have some kind of talking sex episode and fucking boom, down instantaneously. The whole channel gone. But we are just about out of time for tonight. We will be back. I think we're back Thursday. If we're not back Thursday, I don't know if I got that. I don't know if I've got the confirmation for Thursday yet. I got to check.
I know tomorrow night.
Well, I know I'm talking for Horror Nights. I was going to get to that if you let me speak. But Thursday night was going there. Friday, we do have another special guest. We have a female that has directed a bunch of really interesting short films. I wouldn't call them all horror. I would say a lot of them are very educational in nature. And honestly, it's topics that aren't talked about that can be uneasy. Things like, bulimia and other things that just exist in the world that don't get enough light or get pushed or brushed aside. And she did a really good job bringing these things to light. I was kind of moved by them, and I don't get moved easily. So she's going to come on and talk about that and her inspiration for that and what she likes. And she's also a big horror fan too. Some of her shorts were into the horror realm. Don't get me wrong. It's just a bunch of them were also real life too. And yeah, and then next week we got a bunch of guests too that want to come back, and hopefully, like I said, tonight we were supposed to have Troy Burbank on to, and we will maybe hopefully get him next week when he's feeling better. He was sick. Tomorrow night, though, we will be back with paranormal talk with Project Unknown. And I think tomorrow night we are going to really dive deep into some of the conspiracies we talked today. Some of the and I got some others on my mind that I definitely want to talk about, because I find it intriguing, whether it's true or it's just fiction. It makes for entertainment in my mind, any which way. Even if there is an island run by freaking elites, I still find it entertaining.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I mean, it's good fiction. It's good story. It's a good fucking tale. Somebody put a lot of thought into crafting it. But there's other conspiracies I really want to talk about, like the big ones, the money makers. Flat Earth is a money maker. I can show you how to make a couple of $100 tonight on TikTok with Flat Earth. It'll be a fun episode. It'll be a little bit out of the realm. And then I believe the following week we have someone that actually can speak and see the dead. So they say.
So they say.
So we shall see about that. But all the shows are thriving here on the network. So people need to just stay tuned. Keep going. Keep watching. Keep subscribing. Keep checking everything out. Because there's always something going on. We always got some kind of a pop-up going on, or something special, or somebody wants to come on. We're very busy. It's a busy season. But thank you, everybody. And make sure to join us. Honestly, join us.
Shot.